Yeah.
Greetings, I'm Rob Chappers. I'm over with a very important person.
George Trips.
We're going to have a really informal chat about what it is that this legend does. And we're going to take it really easy.
It'd be good if someone told me what I did.
Yeah, well, maybe I could tell you what you do and lead you around to my way of thinking.
Perhaps.
Well, not. He's only landed in England very recently.
What is today?
Today is...
Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
So Monday.
So George is quite jet-lagged. So
yeah.
what's the most exciting thing about doing what you do?
Well, God. What is the most exciting? You know, it's actually a lot of fun. Just overall. I don't know if there's a most exciting. It kind of depends. Sometimes it's just working on fuzz faces in general is kind of fun. Being able to work on that brand. I mean, when I first started at Dunlop, actually, I was very excited. Probably more excited than doing the Way Huge. I was more excited to work on MXR.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Why was that then?
Keith Barr was a hero of mine who started MXR, and you know, Phase 90s and Dynacomps are just classic, and they're awesome. And to be part of that brand and develop under that was very exciting.
And did you already have your own brand before you went into work with MXR?
Yeah. No, I started doing pedals in '92 when I moved to Hollywood, and did Way Huge from then on and off until about '99, and then went to Line 6 for 7 years at Line 6. So doing a lot of...
That's a lot of years.
Yeah, it's a lot of years. I call that my college years.
You kind of cut your teeth through that period.
It was definitely a learning experience, a different kind of thing. So working in that sort of establishment trains you in different things.
So I think something that you're kind of famous for is other than the fact that you make amazingly good pedals, is the crazy names on some of the Way Huge stuff.
Crazy names.
Where do you get like swollen?
Growing up in the '70s. The name actually that's a question people ask. The names, they vary where they come from. Some have stories that are interesting. Others don't, and others were just I was on some weird animal color kick thing, and like, oh, I'll call it a green rhino. Yeah, that sounds great.
Oh, there was a formula of animal plus color equals pedal.
That was one thing for a minute. Swollen pickle, you know, because it was in the Big Muff vein. God, how do you get a great name like Big Muff? It's like So I had dictionaries and thesauruses and looked and literally came up with Swollen pickle that way. Very, very unexciting.
So what's a day or a week in the life like for you?
Depends.
But there are many guys out there that think, oh, I'd love to be a pedal designer or a guitar designer or an amp designer or just work in MI doing something to do with gear, because it's a bit of a dream for a lot of people. So when you wake up and you've done your normal ablutions and you've eaten some nice breakfast in California where you dwell, do you sit down and like play some jazz, or do you like start designing pedals?
You know what? It's the beauty of Dunlop is Jimmy allows the creative process to be what it is, which it doesn't mean it's like, okay, you get up at 9 and you go to the office and you work on products. It's sort of like I work 24/7. So if an idea hits and I'm out doing whatever, it's like, oh, I gotta take care of this now. It's like, oh, sorry, I gotta go to work.
So when you get an idea for a pedal, do you hear it, because you were a guitarist foremost, I would imagine. You started playing the guitar before you made pedals.
Yes.
So I don't know whether a lot of you know this, but he's a guitar player. It really helps.
I am a guitar player.
It really helps when you design music gear, because there are people that design gear that don't play guitar. And I find that it's often a missing link in the chain.
Yes and no. I mean, because Leo Fender didn't play guitar. He can't shake a stick at a Stratocaster.
He got lucky, man. He got lucky.
And Jim Marshall played drums, so...
He still played something. I know it was drums.
I was about to say a really bad comment.
Oh, you can't, because the sound guy's a drummer. Do you get a sound in your head that you think, shit, I've got to make that into a pedal? Or do you just think, I haven't made this pedal yet?
I've had that. It comes all different ways. Sometimes it's like, oh, I want to do work on this, or I want to work on that, or it's working with artists, or it's... In the early days, the very early days, it's just, I need this. Yeah. I want an overdrive that's doing this for me. And if you like it, that's wonderful. If you don't, I don't care either. So, you know, I was back, you know, the Swollen Pickle, I just wanted a big giant mountain fuzz like a Big Muff, but, you know, bigger sweep and just gnarlier.
Yeah.
So there is no rhyme or reason. It just it's sort of wherever.
And what's the process of design of a pedal for you? Is it all about the sound all the way through, or
it varies? I mean, per product, some I'm far more involved in on the technical side. Others, it's more like, no, we need something like this. The knob should be here. Should be this color. Color that. Should have this much that, and what have you. And the engineers go. Other times, I'll sit there, especially on the Way Huge. I'll sit and design it like all the way through. So and sit there and dink with it for hours.
And you play guitar through it and get the sound that you're happy with before you play. So actually the playing is really important for you, because if you didn't play the guitar, you wouldn't get that feedback.
Yeah, I do that, and then when I have prototypes, I'll go down to the Baked Potato, and a friend of mine, Jamie Kime, he'll literally I'll walk in the middle of a set, and I will toss it on stage, and when he's done with the song, he'll plug it in, and you pray, pray that it works.
that's the acid end test, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nice to take it in and not be playing through it and hear something and kind of go.
Yeah.
I just did that with a new product I probably can't talk about yet. And it's great to have that little test bed area to go to and try out. Who's winking?
I was winking. I winked at him back, but he didn't see me.
Or was it Urgent?
Tell me about your. Tell me about your love affair with fuzz face pedals, because I saw a photograph of you with an artist of whose pedal we have down here, and he had about 9 of them at his feet.
20 actually.
Oh, it was 20. Well, I can't count, so there you
go. That's when I first started. The work with Eric was a very long process for a number of reasons. So both of us were busy all the time, and we would collide. And whenever he came through California, I'd go and we would hang out and work on a little bit, and I'd ship him a few every now and again. But God, why did I start that? Fuzz Face is just, I don't know, it was really early. They're just cool. I mean, it's Hendrix.
They are cool.
They're very particular. You have to be using the right guitar and the right amp. They're not like, they're sort of the opposite of a big muff. A big muff always sounds like a big muff, no matter what your amp, what your guitar, or who's playing. It's just a wall. Where a fuzz face can sound quite bad with the wrong guy playing, the wrong guitar, the wrong amp. But when everything's right, they're awesome.
Oh, you worked with the right guy, didn't you?
On the Eric Johnson one, that was he uses fuzz face in a very particular way.
Yeah.
It's been interesting, between like he and Bonamassa and other friends of mine that are big fuzz face guys. Everybody has a different take on it, like what the right fuzz face is, and when I was doing the Eric, I was quite concerned that people wouldn't get it. I've been surprised, and I guess that's just because it's a lot of people that really into Eric, I guess, really get his whole thing. And so
he's very particular, like you. He's very particular.
He's very particular.
So was that easy to work with, or was it hard to work with?
Challenging. He's easy. He's the nicest guy in the world.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure to work with. He's very particular. So if it's not right, it's not right.
Yeah.
You move on.
Yeah. Shall I plug into the Eric Johnson now? And do you want to just get me a tone that you think works?
Oh, you will. That's a good question. Do we want to film getting the tone, or
what I think we should get is you dialing in a tone that you like the sound of.
First, we'll have to listen to that on its own.
That's good. That's an interesting point. So you start with listening to the amp, then we move into the pedal, then the guitar.
Well, I mean the guitar and the amp.
And then you want to go to the pedal.
Yeah.
So a lot of guys would just go, let's just twiddle with the pedal.
Well, again, it's fuzz faces. It's like, how is it going to interact? I mean, what are the pickups that are in that?
I've got a Mojo in the bridge, but it call taps. This is a cruiser.
What's the output on the humbucker?
I don't know. I've got no idea what the output number is.
They kind of smell like they're high output.
No, it's a medium. It's not super. It's not like a metal humbucker at all. It's a blues kind of crunchy. It's Joe Satriani's signature, so it's kind of a crunchy, bluesy, warm thing, But I mean, if I give you, if we turn off this octave fuzz,
it's off.
Oh, it's off.
The voicing, rhythm, tweet. Let's try tweet.
I'm on the humbucker at the back.
Okay. Eric's whole thing is he really likes this underbiased, really spitty, you know, the point he's playing through a 100-watt Marshall.
Almost broken, but in a good way.
It's still pretty, yeah, it's not super dirty, but it's loud. It's really loud, and you're going through the selections, and he's using single coils.
Yeah.
Fuzz faces, you really have to use single coils. Get the Marshall, you get the Strat, get the fuzz face, it works.
Yeah.
I mean, when we did, you know, the video that I was talking about earlier, we were very specific. It's a 100-watt 1970 Marshall. The thing's cranked. In that. So when you hear them, you know, and we're using, you know, medium low output single coils, it's makes a difference. Humbuckers, because the way Bonamassa uses his, he dimes the knobs. He's already playing through cranked, quite distorted Marshall already.
So it's cream on the top of it.
Yeah. It's really, it's almost like when you hear him kick it on, you don't hear him kick it on. He feels it. It's more compressed, you know, more kind of squishy for him. You hear that a little bit, but it's not like all of a sudden, wow, fuzz face is on.
It's a big.
With Eric, you do. You hear, whoa, it just changed. You know, you hear the spittiness.
Well, let me try core tapping and bringing it to the middle, so it's 2 singles.
Mostly use it for single note lines, you know, that kind of stuff. So it's.
I love the sound of fuzz face.
Yeah, and his is very spitty. It's going to be very different than the red one. Oh, that's right. We don't have Bonamassa fuzz faces.
So
here.
the red one is the standard.
That's a standard one. We don't have a Hendrix one, do we? That's, to me, the Hendrix one is a little bit more
obvious.
Well, just sort of like a standard sounding fuzz face. That was the goal I did with that one.
When you were adjusting our amplifier, what were you?
Well, because I know this is, well, the way he uses it, he doesn't dime the fuzz, and as you roll the fuzz knob back on a fuzz face, it gets darker. So the amp needs to be, to do it his way, the amp needs to be a little bit brighter, but it also needs to have a little bit of crunch already. If we go and, you know, do this and get it all nice and clean, you know, you're going to get a different. It's a little buzzy.
It's kind of angry.
You know, that's why the combination of the amp and the fuzz face kind of warm the whole thing.
Kind of reminds me of that, yeah.
But, you know, and then if you dime it, which is what most people would do. But it's not, you know, it's not that big, huge, wall, warm tone that people, you know, people think you get a fuzz face and you hook it all up and I'm going to sound like Hendrix. It's like, no.
So for you, it's way more part of the system.
It's an instrument of its own. You play. It's like an Octavio or anything like that. It's its own thing. You definitely have to work it in.
And do you ever blend a fuzz face, or do you like blending them with another overdrive or a boost or a?
Fuzz faces I just use on their own if I ever use it I do have friends that like to do that. Well, they'll run an overdrive into it or on the other side. I'm not a fan of that.
I know that because I like
it's fuzz face and a Marshall.
You're quite a traditionalist then, aren't you? In a strange way.
With that, I mean, it all depends, but because that works with a fuzz face, it works. So you know.
So of the last, and this is a personal question for you, but of the last sort of 5 years, what's your personal alleged favourite pedal you've come up with?
That I've come up with, or just in general?
No, just that you've worked on. Or maybe enjoyed the process of making them.
The Octavio was the most kind of exciting for a lot of well, we went up to the Experience Museum and they took out the Hendrix Octavio and you know got to take that apart. So that was pretty cool. And it was Jimmy's. So to sit there and go, wow, this is. Did you get the hairs thing? I had to wear white gloves. It was crazy. Really? I still have them somewhere. They're like, no, you don't. It was crazy. So that was really cool, and we clone that as close as we possibly could.
Did you have to work with Janie Hendricks or Eddie Kramer or any of the guys?
Janie Hendricks, but I didn't on
yeah.
that was all, you know.
Or political.
Jimmy, I just went in and they pulled it out and we were in just a blank room with a table. It's like, here you go.
It sounds like Men in Black, but with
somewhere we have a video of that. We actually videotaped the whole thing. That was a lot of fun to do. Any of the Way Huge stuff is actually a lot of fun. I'll sit down and spend a lot of time just thinking to come up with something.
Well, we've heard of Fuzz Face. Is there a Way Huge equivalent of a Fuzz Face we should try?
Not at the moment. There used to be, but we don't make it.
That's a shame.
There's a Fuzz, but the Swollen Pickle, but that's more in the Big Muff realm. We could try it if you want. It's your call. It's your show.
It's not my show, man.
It's someone's show.
It's the people's show. Thank you, undisclaimed person from Dunlop MXR and Way Huge. This is one of my favourite pedals of yours. This is the Swollen Pickle.
Mark II.
By what? Get the shot. That's the shot of the century.
Can I do that?
Do you want to talk about this a little bit and just say what it does and why it's... I mean, this is a famous pedal. This is one of those pedals that in 10 years, 15, 20 years' time, people will go, there are sort of 5 or 10 super famous pedals and this is one of them.
Oh, sweet.
I think so.
Wow, man. You roll the dice, you never know what's going to come up.
You think it's that way? I don't think it's that way. I think you make your own luck, and I think this isn't lucky. I think this is something you worked hard on.
True. Well, you know all about it. You probably explain it better than I could.
No, I think I know about pedals because I'm a guitar player and I own a guitar company. But when it comes to people like you, savants, and you know every single component inside of this pedal, and I haven't got a clue. If I open this up, it may as well be full of blancmange.
I mean, it's based on the original one, and then I kind of went in and when we're doing when I started the reissues with Dunlop, there was a big part of me that's like, I just don't want to, just do the same thing. Yeah. Mostly because it's like, I have a chance to and most people hate this. Like when you go back, oh, they changed it, they made it. So on the first ones, that was the one that was a reissue that I tweaked. The other two, the Fat Sandwich and the Pork Loin, were new. So there was nothing, nothing to break with history there. And but other ones I've come back and just reissued. Like
so you have to be sensitive to the past and the tradition that's gone in, the people that have gone into it.
The people, sometimes they revolt.
Yeah.
So
sometimes they're revolting.
And that too. So, but on this, I think it's helped because a lot of people have come and have liked this better because you have a little more tweakability. You can get a lot of different sounds out of it. That
Could you tweak me a sound with this now?
I mean,
that you would like the sound of?
I would pull the slush out.
That has to be a euphemism for something.
No, there's just the traditional Swollen Pickle sound is basically something in that realm. You need to plug you in.
Here's the amp sound. And this is the Way Huge Swollen Pickle.
The original one's that super scooped,
It's like a Trojan warrior.
Yeah.
It really is.
And the crunch knob will basically, if you... It brings the mids back in, which for a lot of people don't like that super scoop thing, and for me it was just I wanted a big wall of.
I absolutely love that pedal. I think it's one of the best fuzzes I've ever heard in my life. I went through a whole kind of Big Muff phase and but I found them to.
Well, they're all different.
They overloaded the input and destroyed the front of my amp for some reason it would turn off for 5 minutes and then I'd have to kind of.
Nice.
I don't know why, but. Yeah, I have a Swollen Pickle, and it's one of the best.
Easy.
Well, because I'm sat here next to Jeorge Pitt. absolutely phenomenal.
What? The inner controls? Arian loves those internal controls. I'm not a big fan of the internal controls, actually.
Oh, well, you got the trim inside.
There's two, yeah. You can change. One actually on the internal controls moves again the tone control, kind of shifts the filter, and the other one basically swaps between a pair of LEDs and a pair of diodes, which just kind of changes where it clips at.
Yeah.
Which basically when I was doing the first three, I had these breadboards and there's just little potentiometers all over, little tweaks, and then I ended up liking a lot of them at the time and leaving them in and confusing the hell out of people.
So we did a video yesterday with an amplifier. We were changing the valves over and getting different kinds of tones from just changing valves.
Sure.
And even though I've been a pro player for many years because I'm ancient, and Lee has been doing this for a long time as well, we were amazed at the difference in tone and volume from just changing valves over, tubes over. So I guess it must be similar with like diodes, cathodes, resistors. Each little tiny piece makes a massive difference.
Depends, actually. It's all it's not quite the same as like with a tube amp. I mean, because the tube is a really important integral part of it. Depending on the circuit, certain resistors, certain capacitors make a big difference. Others don't. It's all kind of variable. Like, I mean, to use the fuzz face because it's nice and simple.
Yeah.
In it, with Eric, a big part of it was he uses a very particular fuzz face. When I sat down and he'd pull out the ones he liked.
Yeah.
They tended to be like a 68, 69, generally speaking, which is this kind with this kind of tall knob. It's the first issue of silicone ones.
Yeah. Actually, while you're saying Eric Johnson, we should mention that there is a clinic in England, in Guildford, and I'm going to flash the details up between my hand and George's hand. If you just move your hand, they're just there. There's details for the clinic. It's sold out, so if you haven't got a ticket, you can't go, and you were too late. But what is going to happen is that there'll be a bunch of pedals there that Eric will sign that will be available for purchase. Is that right? Purchase. There you go. You can purchase them. Is that the orange beverage that you were forced?
No, God.
Yeah.
That would make me
Never buy an orange beverage in England.
That
unless it's Tizer or Iron Brew.
Wow, was that a product placement there?
Well, it doesn't matter. We can. What kind of water is that?
This is refreshing Nestle water. It's made of chocolate.
Awesome. So we've got a load of other stuff on the floor here. Is there anything here that you specifically like to play through? I mean, I'm thinking maybe this one because I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, we should play the Slash fuzz. Yeah. It is pretty impressive.
I like it. I like it a lot. So, what's he like?
Slash?
Yeah,
he's very nice.
Yeah.
He's basically very mellow.
Yeah,
I was gonna say something else.
Much as yourself.
Yeah, no, he was actually a delight to work with. Just sat down. His original goal was to get something that was more sonically reliable than the standard MXR Blue Box, which is quite fun, but you kind of never know what's going to come out of that thing when you play. And he used it on a solo track, so we worked on a sub-octave that did that, and then he would ask, well, can we do this? Can we add that? How about an octave up? So it just sort of created this beast here, which is a lot of fun to play.
This is awesome. At some point, it almost sounded like it had the vocal thing going through it.
Well, what's going on actually is you go in and it's running into, there's kind of 3 circuits in it.
Yeah.
There's a sub-octave, then there's an octave up fuzz, and then there's a kind of a tweaked out swollen pickle, because what he was using was actually, for a while, was a swollen pickle in one of our bass octaves.
Right.
So we kind of incorporated that, and then he wanted an octave up, so we did sort of like an Octavio type of thing up.
Yeah.
So it creates this beastly. So basically there's your sub octave. There's your this little button basically takes the sub octave and runs it into the front of a swollen pickle. Then there. you can hear like where the octave up kind of pops out, and then as you go down, the low comes in. It's pretty wild.
I want to drop tune into it. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah,
That's pretty.
that is a beast. It's a beast in a box, is what it is, man.
Yeah, it was wild. When we would kick all the fuzz in, he's usually running it into his gain channel, just with the sub octave below. I'm like turn off the gain channel, go on the clean side.
Yeah.
And then it was like just insane because he had his stack of Marshalls in the Paul.
Yeah.
Kicked it into the clean side, and it was like
the late
holy
pull.
crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was quite nice.
Wow. So this is the Octave Fuzz MXR / signature pedal. 149 at Andertons. So it's £149 at andertons.co.uk.
And that's play money to you Americans.
I'm spying a Bonamassa wah.
Yeah, that's lacking a bottom plate.
So why is it lacking a bottom plate? Is that because they want you to talk about the
I
innards?
believe somebody wanted to show the innards.
Is that what it is? Yeah. Do you get that all the time? Do people just give you a pedal and just take off all the bits and just go, can you show me?
That seems to be happening in this country.
Yeah. If you don't want to talk about the insides,
we on the Bonamassa, what
is lubed up? I can tell that.
Well, they all are.
Yeah.
All crybabies have that on the fine gearing.
So that I'll do it for you. I'll do it for you. That's the halo. That's the lube.
That's the lube.
The banana chips.
These are and these are your little chiclets. They're quite tasty. The blue ones are mint flavored. The brown ones are chocolate. Now we've got the Halo inductor. This is the only wah that we have that we recreated an old Halo in. The crazy thing is, Joe likes non-true bypass wahs in standard old crybaby hard bypass, which when you kick it on, it
takes everything away.
Yes,
that's
loves that. And I was like, that's great, but everyone's gonna want true bypass. So we actually had a little switch so you can make it true bypass or Joe Bonamassa high-end lacking bypass,
genius,
which he loves.
Yeah.
So he leaves it there. And then when we went to do it, I kind of went crazy and wanted to use really big parts just to be, I don't know, they look cool, don't they?
They look cool.
They look very cool.
It's almost like you wish it was a see-through case so they could see the work you do.
We should do a plexiglass bottom. We did the copper top.
It was my idea.
To go with his fine copper fuzz, which you guys can't get in this fine country. And then he wanted the nice smooth black finish. So
which makes a difference at the time.
It does. The copper does.
Yeah.
It's a copper top. It's a copper top wall. What else can I say about it?
Well, why don't you plug me in and just let's just get some tones, man.
Off, not on. I do have some good stories, but they're not for
about
they're not for YouTube.
About artists you may have worked with
people I've worked with in certain numbers of. And what have you.
Possibly imagine.
Okay, yeah.
There's all sorts of crazy, good fun stories.
What's the best place to eat in California then?
The best place to eat?
Yeah.
Depends what you want to eat.
Pancakes or pizza? Anything beginning with P.
Pancakes or pizza? You want to go to Bella Vista in Burbank.
Burbank, where ESP
pizza.
Are based, I think.
Yes, I'm very close to ESP, my little office.
Really?
I'm not in San Francisco.
Oh, right.
I'm in Los Angeles.
Oh, I was near you just a while back then.
Yes, ESP are my neighbors.
They're nice guys.
They are.
So I'll tell you what,
probably
really
want
good
this
fun.
near your foot.
Well, no, what I was going to say, it'd be really good fun if you wah for me. I'll feel honoured if you wah me, and I'll just play some kind of funky rubbish, and you can cop a top wah me.
Hopefully this works. There we go. That's better.
Yeah! That was absolutely exceptional.
Wasn't it fancy?
There should be this. You should five the shit out of that. There should be some kind of amount of money
just do that.
you can pay to hire Jeorge to come and do your own pedals for you while you're on stage. Yeah.
Just to explain why the guys can't get the Bonamassa fuzz over here as well.
Basically, the reason you can't get the Bonamassa fuzz is because we don't like you. No. It's because we're using new old stock germanium Russian transistors, which are not ROS compliant. And we did try to do some things to make them ROS compliant, and it didn't work.
Didn't work for the time.
But I am working on a new one with Joe that you guys will be able to get. So.
Okay.
Why do I smell toast?
No, I was going to ask you exactly the same question. I think it's the amplifier, but
no, it's lunchtime downstairs.
Oh, it's lunchtime. Yeah, that's what it is. So we have a very special pedal here. That we're going to give away at the end of this video. If you're very nice in the comment section below about how wonderfully attractive Jeorge is and how great this video's been.
Sorry. Basically, it's if you talk about overdrives, distortions, and fuzzes, it's an actual true distortion.
Yeah.
So it's an actually distortion pedal. So if you take a clean amp,
I
think that was. You will get distortion out of it. As opposed to fuzz. As opposed to that.
I love
So it's a true distortion. It's pretty straight up distortion, tone, volume. There's a crunch control that's changing LEDs and diodes to kind of give a different feel to the crunch of.
So you got the gain pretty cranked up there, haven't you?
Yeah.
And how much output is there from the pedal?
Like level?
Yeah.
Like actual in dB? I have no idea. It says in the manual. That's what the manual's for.
Found a weakness.
I don't remember. I don't remember these things.
Can we just say it's 10?
10 dB?
Yeah.
I don't know. Someone.
So we're going to give this pedal away because we're friendly, nice people. It's been signed by none other than the amazing Joe Bonamassa.
Apparently.
Apparently so. So how are they going to win this pedal? Any ideas?
Guess how many pedals Jeorge has ever designed ever? How many is it?
You don't know the answer to that, do you?
I don't know the answer.
No, that's good, that's good.
Well.
So in order to win this fantastic MXR 78 distortion signed by Joe Bonamassa, you need to guess how many pedals Jeorge has designed.
And as do I.
And leave it in the comment section below, and Captain Lee will pick a winner. Randomly from his mind. I've been Rob Chappers.
And I've been Jeorge Trips.
We're going to do that, and then we're going to salute the camera.
We are?
Yeah, do it, do it. Ready? 3, 2, 1.